The waitress slipped me a note at the bottom of my receipt. If you need someone who listens, I'm on the evening shift. I came back the next night. We talked for hours. 3 months later, I was in her bed while her husband was on a business trip. She had an 8-year-old son who called me Mr. Dillon, and a wedding ring hidden in her apron pocket. Welcome to Ryan's Revelations, where we bring you true stories of affairs, forbidden love, and the destruction that follows when you fall for the wrong person. What you're about to hear is the confession of a 26-year-old tech repair worker who fell in love with a married waitress after a disastrous blind date. A woman who seemed perfect. A woman who listened. A woman who forgot to mention she had a husband coming home in 2 weeks. This is a story about how loneliness makes you blind, how being seen by someone doesn't mean they're available, and how an affair disguised as romance destroyed a family. If you're new here, subscribe and turn on notifications. We post true betrayal stories 3 times a week. And if this hits too close to home, drop a comment. This story gets messy, complicated, real. Let's begin. My name is Dylan. I'm 26, living alone in a small apartment above a laundromat in Portland, Oregon. It's not much. Creaky floors, a free Craigslist couch, a coffee maker that barely works. I fix laptops and phones at a tech repair shop downtown. At night, I jog through misty streets with lo-fi beats drowning out the city. My life is quiet, repetitive, maybe a little empty. I'm not great at dating. 3 bad dates in a row will do that to you. The one who talked about her ex the whole time. The one who ghosted me mid-text. The one who showed up drunk and tried to sell me crypto. So when I matched with Nina on a dating app, 23, communications major, sharp smile in her profile, I figured I'd give it one last shot. We texted for a week. Decent banter. Nothing life-changing, but enough to make me think it could work. We agreed to meet at a small restaurant downtown. Red brick walls, soft candlelight, jazz in the background. The kind of place where something good could start. I arrived 10 minutes early. Old habit. The place was half full. Couples murmuring over wine. A waiter weaving through tables. A woman approached. Brown hair tied in a neat bun, crisp white apron. She had a calm presence, like she could handle anything. Her name tag read, Sophie. Evening, she said warmly. Table for 1? 2, I said. I'm waiting for someone. She led me to a table by the window. Rain streaked the glass. Portland's usual drizzle. Nina showed up 7 minutes late. Blonde, sharp cheekbones, black dress that probably cost more than my rent. But her smile was tight, like it was on a timer. Hey, she said, sliding into the chair. No apology, no warmth. She set her phone face up on the table, screen glowing with notifications. I tried to start easy. How's your day been? Her eyes flicked to her phone. Fine. Her fingers were already tapping the screen, fake nails clicking like a metronome. I pushed on, talking about my job, how I'd fixed a fried motherboard that morning. Sounds like you just fix broken phones, she said, not looking up. I tried again. Told a story about fixing my aunt's phone after her husband passed. Hours recovering photos she didn't want to lose. When I handed it back, she hugged me like I'd brought him back to life. Nina barely glanced up. That's cool. There's this guy on TikTok who does that. You seen him? No. I don't really do TikTok, she shrugged, eyes locked on her screen. You should. He's got like 1 million followers. I felt like I was talking to a wall. The jazz seemed louder than our conversation. Sophie came by, refilling water glasses. She caught my eye for a split second, and I swear there was something there. Sympathy, maybe, like she could see exactly how this date was going. Nina ordered without looking at the menu. Salmon, but no herbs. Like, none at all. Her tone was sharp, like she was talking to an app instead of a person. Sophie nodded, jotting it down, her face neutral but her eyes sharp. I ordered a burger, kept it simple. When Sophie walked away, I tried once more. So you're studying communications? What's that like? Nina sighed like the question was a chore. It's fine, a lot of group projects. Kinda boring. Her phone lit up again, and she was gone. Lost in whatever was on that screen. By the time the food arrived, I'd given up. We ate mostly in silence, broken only by the click of her nails on her phone. Sophie came by to check on us. Everything okay here? She asked, looking at me a beat longer than necessary. I nodded. Yeah, all good. Nina didn't even look up. When she finished eating, Nina stood abruptly. I got to run. Thanks for dinner. No offer to split the bill, no real goodbye. She was out the door before I could say anything. I sat there staring at the half-eaten burger, feeling like I'd wasted 2 hours of my life. Sophie came over to clear the table, stacking plates quietly. She set down the bill, a small black folder with a receipt tucked inside. Then she paused, her hand lingering on the table. If it was me, she said quietly, I'd have stayed. I looked up, caught off guard. Her eyes were steady. Not flirty, just honest. Before I could respond, she turned and walked back to the kitchen. I paid the bill, my mind replaying her words. They weren't romantic, not exactly, but they hit something deep. When I got home, I checked my email. The receipt confirmation from the restaurant. At the bottom, in neat handwriting, if you need someone who listens, I'm on the evening shift. Tss. I sat on my couch, lo-fi still humming through my speakers, reading that note again and again. For the first time that night, I didn't feel alone. The next evening, I went back. Told myself I was just grabbing coffee, but I knew why I was really there. Sophie was behind the counter, wiping down a coffee machine. When I walked in, she looked up and smiled. Back already? Guess I'm becoming a regular. She remembered my order. Black coffee, no sugar. Brought it to my table by the window. Mind if I sit? She asked. Slow night. Please, that's how it started, just talking. She asked about my work. I asked about hers. Found out she'd been waitressing for 8 years, worked evenings because they paid better tips. She was in her mid-30s, I guessed. Calm, steady, the kind of person who'd learned to carry weight without complaint. We talked for 2 hours. When her shift ended, we sat at the counter, the restaurant empty except for us. Can I ask you something? She said. Why did you come back? Your note, I admitted. Nobody's said anything like that to me in a long time. Made me feel seen. She smiled, but there was something sad in it. I know what invisible feels like. Over the next 2 weeks, I came back every night. We'd talk after her shift, walk to a nearby park. She'd tell me about her life, her dreams. Said she wanted to open her own coffee shop someday. I told her about growing up without family nearby, about feeling rootless. About how fixing broken things was easier than fixing myself. You're not broken, she said one night, rain falling around us. You're just waiting for the right person to see you. I think I found her, I said before I could stop myself. She looked at me for a long moment, then she kissed me. Soft at first. Then desperate, like she'd been holding back for weeks. We pulled apart, both breathing hard. Sophie, I know this is fast, she said. But I haven't felt like this in years. You make me feel like I matter. You do matter. She kissed me again, and I knew we were crossing a line we couldn't uncross. That night, I went home to her apartment. A small place, neat but worn. We didn't talk much. Just held each other like we were both drowning and had finally found something to hold on to. Afterward, lying in her bed, she told me more. About being a single mom, about her 8-year-old son, Max. He's with my mom tonight, she said. I don't usually bring anyone home. But you're different. I'd like to meet him, I said. If that's okay. She smiled, tears in her eyes. I'd like that. For 3 months, we fell into a rhythm. I'd come by the restaurant every night. We'd close up together, go to her place. On weekends, I'd meet Max, this lanky kid who loved superheroes and showed me his drawings. Sophie and I started talking about the future. Opening that coffee shop together, moving in together, building a life. It felt perfect, like I'd finally found where I belonged. What I didn't know was that Sophie was married. I found out on a Tuesday afternoon in month 4. I'd stopped by her apartment during the day to drop off some groceries. She'd given me a key a few weeks earlier. Max was at school. Sophie was at work. I let myself in, started putting things away in the kitchen. That's when I noticed a jacket on the couch I'd never seen before. Men's jacket, large, expensive looking. My stomach dropped. I walked through the apartment. Saw a pair of men's shoes by the door, a razor in the bathroom. Men's clothes in the bedroom closet. Not just a few items. A lot of clothes. Like someone lived here. I sat on the couch, my mind racing. Tried to rationalize it. Maybe an ex left stuff behind. Maybe her brother stayed over. Then I saw it, on the mantel. A framed photo. Sophie in a white dress, standing next to a tall man in a suit. Both smiling. Wedding photo. Recent photo. Maybe 2 years old. The front door opened. Sophie walked in, saw me sitting there, saw the photo in my hands. Her face went white. Dylan. Who is he? My voice was eerily calm. That's Marcus. My husband. The word felt like a punch. Your husband. Let me explain. You're married. This whole time you've been married. Tears streamed down her face. Yes, but Dylan, it's not what you think. Then what is it? Because from where I'm sitting, I've been sleeping with someone's wife for 3 months. Marcus and we're not together. Not really. He travels for work. He's gone 25 days a month. We barely see each other. We're married on paper, but we don't have a marriage. Does he know about me? Silence. Does he know? I asked again, louder. No. He doesn't know. Because he's never here. He sends money, and that's it. We're roommates who happen to share a last name. Then divorce him. I can't. He pays for everything. The apartment, Max's school, health insurance. I make minimum wage plus tips, Dylan. If I leave, I lose everything. Max loses everything. I stood up, backing away from her. So what am I, your escape? Your side piece? No. You're the person I love. You make me feel alive again. Marcus hasn't touched me in 2 years. Hasn't asked how my day was, hasn't looked at me like I matter. But you do all those things. You see me, I see a liar, I said. You let me meet your son. Let me talk about our future. All while you had a husband I didn't know existed. I was going to tell you. When? After we opened the coffee shop together? After I moved in? I was scared you'd leave. And I need you, Dylan. You're the only good thing in my life. I'm the affair, Sophie. That's all I am. She collapsed onto the couch, sobbing. Please don't leave me. I'll figure it out. I'll tell Marcus. I'll find a way to leave. Just don't walk away. I looked at her, this woman I thought I knew. The woman who'd made me feel seen for the first time in my life, and I realized I didn't know her at all. I need time, I said. I need to think. I left. Drove around for hours. Tried to process it. Sophie was married. Had been married the whole time. Every kiss, every conversation, every moment we'd shared, she'd been someone else's wife. But she was also lonely. Trapped in a marriage with an absent husband. Struggling to provide for her son. Wasn't I saving her? Wasn't I the good guy here? I went back the next day. I'll stay, I told her, but you have to tell him. You have to start the divorce. She hugged me, crying. I will, I promise. As soon as he gets back from this trip. Marcus was due home in 2 weeks. 2 weeks became 3, then 4. Sophie kept finding excuses. He's in the middle of a big deal. If I tell him now, he'll be distracted, and he could lose his job. Max has a school play coming up. I don't want to upset things before that. His mom is sick. Now's not the right time. I started to wonder if there would ever be a right time. Meanwhile, I was living a double life. Going to her apartment when Marcus was traveling, leaving before he came home. Sneaking around like a teenager. Max started calling me Mr. Dylan, asked when I was moving in. Soon, buddy, I'd say, hating myself for lying to an 8-year-old. It all came crashing down 6 months in. Marcus came home early from a trip. Some client meeting got canceled. He was supposed to be gone until Friday, but he showed up on Wednesday afternoon. I was at the apartment. In their bedroom. At 2 p.m. on a Wednesday. We heard the key in the lock. Sophie's face went white. Oh my God, he's not supposed to be here. What do I do? Closet, now. I dove into the bedroom closet, pulling the door shut. Heard Marcus's voice in the living room. Sophie, you home? Yeah, just taking a nap. What are you doing here? Meeting got canceled. Figured I'd come home, surprise you. Maybe we could have dinner together for once. Through the slats in the closet door, I watched him walk into the bedroom. He was tall, well-dressed, exactly what you'd expect from a successful business guy. He moved to the dresser, started unpacking his bag. Any second, he'd open this closet. Sophie appeared in the doorway. Marcus, we need to talk. About what? About us. About this marriage. He stopped unpacking, turned to look at her. What about it? When's the last time we actually talked? Not about bills or schedules. Really talked? I don't know, I've been busy. You're always busy. You're gone 25 days a month. You sleep in the guest room when you're here. We're strangers, Marcus. I'm working to provide for this family. What family? Her voice cracked. You don't even know Max anymore. You haven't asked about him in months. Haven't asked about me. We're not a family. We're people who share an address. Marcus was quiet. Then, is there someone else? My blood turned to ice. Yes, Sophie whispered. I heard Marcus's sharp intake of breath. Who? It doesn't matter. Who's Sophie? Dylan, a guy I met at work. How long? 6 months. 6 months. Jesus Christ. His voice was cold. Where is he? Is he here right now? Silence. Is he in this apartment? Marcus. He moved toward the closet. Sophie tried to block him, but he was bigger, stronger. He threw open the closet door. And there I was, fully clothed, but obviously hiding, obviously guilty. We stared at each other. Me, 26, tech repair guy wearing jeans and a hoodie. Him, mid-30s, in an expensive suit, the man who paid for everything. Get out of my house, he said quietly. Marcus, please, Sophie started. Get out of my goddamn house, he said louder. Right now. I stepped out of the closet. I'm sorry, don't say you're sorry, just get out. I looked at Sophie. She was crying, shaking. I'm so sorry, I said to both of them. I left. Walked out of that apartment, knowing I'd never go back. Behind me, I heard them screaming at each other. Her crying. Him shouting. Doors slamming. I drove home and threw up. Sophie filed for divorce 2 weeks later. Marcus didn't fight it. Just wanted it over. She lost the apartment. Marcus had his name on the lease, kicked her out. She had to move in with her mom, into a tiny 2-bedroom with Max. The divorce settlement was brutal. Because of the affair, she got minimal support. Barely enough to cover Max's expenses. She tried to open the coffee shop, but without Marcus's financial backing, she couldn't get the loans. Couldn't afford the rent. The dream died. She had to pick up extra shifts at the restaurant. Max started acting out at school, confused and angry about the divorce, about losing his home. She texted me once. Was it worth it? I didn't know how to answer. Because we weren't even together anymore. The affair had consumed everything, destroyed her marriage and her stability. And once it was exposed, it couldn't survive reality. We tried for a month after the divorce, but it was different. Tainted by guilt, by the knowledge of what we'd done. Every time I looked at her, I saw Marcus's face when he opened that closet. Saw Max asking why they had to move. Saw the wreckage we'd caused. We ended it mutually. She said she needed to focus on Max, on rebuilding. I said I needed to figure out who I was without being someone's secret. It's been a year. I still work at the tech repair shop, still live alone above the laundromat. Still jog at night with lo-fi beats. I saw Sophie once, a few months ago. She was waitressing at a different restaurant. We made eye contact. She looked tired. Older. She gave me a small nod and looked away. I heard Max is doing better now. They found a stable routine. Sophie's mom helps with childcare. And Marcus? I looked him up online once. He's engaged to someone new. Someone his own age from his corporate world. Someone who probably doesn't work in restaurants and lie about being married. I think about that note sometimes. If you need someone who listens, I'm on the evening shift. She did listen, made me feel seen. But she left out the part where she was married. Where falling for her meant destroying a family. I was so desperate to not be lonely that I ignored every red flag. The fact that I'd never been to her place during the day. That she never talked about Max's father. That 3 months in, I'd never met any of her friends or family. I wanted to believe I was the hero, saving a lonely woman from a bad marriage. But really, I was just a 26-year-old who became the affair partner because someone paid attention to me. Being seen doesn't mean you're doing the right thing. And feeling needed doesn't justify destroying someone's life. I learned that too late. So what do you think? Was Dylan wrong for continuing the affair after finding out Sophie was married? Or was Sophie's marriage so broken that it doesn't count? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment and tell me. Number 1, should Dylan have walked away the moment he saw the wedding photo? Number 2, was Marcus at fault for being an absent husband? Number 3, does an emotionally dead marriage justify an affair? And number 4, have you ever been the other man or other woman in a situation like this? This is a safe space. Share your truth. If this story affected you, watch these next. My coworker made me feel special until her husband found out. Another workplace affair. The single mom who wasn't single. Similar betrayal discovery. I thought I was saving her from a bad marriage. The hero complex that destroys lives. Check the description or click the videos now. If you made it to the end, you understand that affairs disguised as romance are still affairs. That being lonely doesn't give you permission to destroy families. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We post 3 times a week with true confession stories about affairs and betrayal. And smash that like button if you want more honest stories about the mistakes we make when we mistake attention for love. Thank you for watching this Ryan's Revelations exclusive. This was a true story about waitresses who slip you notes, husbands who work too much, and the moment you realize you're not the hero, you're the homewrecker. Remember, feeling seen by someone doesn't mean they're available. And desperate loneliness can make you complicit in destroying lives you never meant to touch. Until next time, this is Ryan's Revelations, bringing you the truth about love, lies, and the affairs that ruin everything. Stay strong. Stay honest. And never let loneliness convince you that someone else's spouse is your soulmate.